You're such an asshole!
Oh, there once was a man named Cappy who did a lot of stuff and was happy. Rode his motorcycle up a mountain and it was bitch ass cold up there. Did Chinook Pass. Look up Chinook Pass. Didn't understand it. Did not understand Chinook Pass. It is no more than 5,000 feet of a pass, and there was still 12 feet of snow in some places up there. I'm like, why is it cold here? Why does Washington suck so much west of the Cascades? Oh, it was beautiful and sunny, and then it went to crap. Hi, you're a long-time listener of your podcast. I think your specific knowledge base can address the subject line, hence why I need your asshole powers and prowess. What is this subject line? Visiting national parks in Utah. Oh, yes. Cappy knows all. In October, I'll be making a reconnaissance in force to Nevada and Utah. I've been to the Great Basin National Park in eastern Nevada once, but have no direct experience with the Utah parks. I hike and do long exposure nighttime photography for a hobby. Any recommendations on which parks? I know you mentioned Canyonland several times. I would like a general idea based upon trails, places to stay, etc. And any pro tips for desert hiking. I will have possibly up to a week available for the mission. You do not have enough time. I'm trying to avoid backcountry camping if possible. Yeah, you don't have the time. Let me know the fee, and if you want, turn it into a video and bill accordingly. But I don't want every SOB going to the places where I am to. Dude, I don't have that many followers. Don't worry, I'm not. And the truth is, to get to the Utah parks, you really got to be committed. Because there ain't no convenient place to fly into Utah. There isn't. If you want to go to Rocky Mountain, you fly into Denver. You want to go to, what's it called? Glacier, you fly into Kalispell. Or Whitefish Falls? White Falls? But Utah, even if you fly into Salt Lake, you still got yourself a 4 or 5 hour drive down south. Okay, so let's talk about the parks. Okay, how do I want to do this? Let's talk logistics first. There's two major things wrong with your plan here. One, you're going in October. If you're going to stick to Nevada, cool, because it's warmer down there. But you quite literally going down into technically the Arizona border from St. George, Utah. You go down, you follow the Virgin River down this canyon, the Virgin Canyon, into basically what then becomes the basin of Nevada. And the temperature goes up 10 to 15 degrees. But Utah is, though, on this plateau, essentially. And it's cold up there in October. And then if you go into the mountains, or even not necessarily the mountains, but you go up on the cliffs, which is basically what Canyonlands and Zion is, it can snow. I was there in May, and it was snowing so much in Zion that they had to shut down the road. Now, that was a freak storm. And I had to ride my motorcycle through 37 degrees and rains, and that was the most miserable motorcycle ride. That was May. You're going at the tail end, and you better be going early October because it will get cold. You could get a good stretch of good weather, and you'd be all right hiking in these parks in Utah. But man, if you're there for a week, I almost guarantee you there's going to be a couple cold days where it is not going to be pleasant. If you're in Nevada, okay, it'd be warmer. Phoenix, not Flagstaff, Phoenix. There's a difference. You'd be all right. But yeah, if you're October, it's almost over. I kind of put the bike away September. I'll ride out September. But I remember one time I did an October ride out east, and I got lucky, but then the last day, 34 degrees. Oh. Had a 5 hour drive. And even with thermal gear, it was miserable. Of course, that was Wisconsin. So that's the first thing I would. October is, you might be able to pull it off if you get a good spate of weather. The second logistical problem is you don't have the time. A week? These are big states. These are huge states. I know in the East, it's like in the East Coast, it's liberal, it's Democrat, and the penises are like their states, like about that big. You're like, hey, let's go drive across Connecticut. And you don't even drive, you can spin across Connecticut. Utah, Nevada, these are huge states. just to go from Canyonland, and that's the other thing, there's mountains. It's not like there's a straight shot you go. Moab to Zion, you gotta, if you do the interstate and then you cut over, that's a 4, maybe 5 hour drive. Bryce, I think it's only 2 hours from Zion to Bryce. Moab is off in the distance, but you're doing the entire southern half of Utah where the 3 main parks are. Bryce, Zion, and, Canyonlands and Arches, but they're quite literally across the street from each other. Moab is the town that you want to go to. And then you want to do Nevada? No, you're going to be on the road the entire time. You're just not going to have the time. Moab, Moab, which includes Arches and Canyonlands National Park. I'm scheduling an entire month just to do that park because that's how big and vast it is. So you can only, if you want to do Nevada and Utah, you quite literally would only be driving through these parks for a week. Let me double check. Did you say a week? Great Basin. Have possibly up to a week? Up to a week? You're just going to drive. That's all you're going to do is you're going to drive, you're going to look through them, you're going to sit and wait for people, and then, you're just going to drive a lot. So that's everything that's wrong with it. Now, you had a little bit more. Let me read through this. Get off the dust. I did a cross-country one from PA to California 3 years ago. Best thing I ever did for myself, 2 weeks on the road. This year's trip will be early October. Good. I need to drive from Utah, Nevada to Florida for a buddy's bachelor party. I know you don't particularly care for New Mexico, but some of the Civil War stuff. Oh, yeah, you talked about... Yeah, I took those down. I got my buddy Albuquerque, Adam, lives in Albuquerque. I might go around and visit him. And I did ride my motorcycle through West Virginia. I was very surprised. Beyond the hoo-dang-diggly, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. It was very nice riding through West Virginia. I was very... And the truth is, you know why I rode through West Virginia? Because I didn't want to pay the frickin' turnpike in Pennsylvania. Like, I'm not paying you assholes anymore. All right, so to address your specific issue, you are only going to have time to do one. And I'm trying to think, if you're coming from that direction, you're going to go to Florida. You're going to come down through... No, not Price. Yeah, Price is at that. No, Provo. Cut over, drop south, and cut over. It's basically which way do you want to go around the Grand Canyon. Yeah, then you're going to go through that. I think here's what I would do. I would do Moab. You don't have the time to do Zion, Bryce, let alone anything else in Nevada. I would go to Moab. It's going to be pricey, but you're going to save yourself maybe camp in your car or whatever you can do. Get a desert pass or a national parks pass. And I would drive through, one day just drive through Arches National Park. There's nothing to do but look at the arches. That's it. I would do Highway 128 up to the highway outside of Moab and back. Then I would spend the majority of your time in Canyonlands National Park. There's basically 3 units to it. There's the main unit near Moab, where they have the road of death that goes all the way down to the valley with 1,000-foot drops. That's worth driving, then go back up it. The main entrance to the park by Moab, you really could just look at it. There's some hikes you could do where you go down into the base and you go out and look at some really cool stuff. But the main stuff is almost nearly impossible to hike unless you have at least 3 days. If your goal was hiking, I would say do that. Stay in Moab or stay in the park, and then hike down, grab a ton of water, and just go hike down into those, they call it, what do they call it? The skyline or the flight deck or whatever. You're basically on this big peninsula, and you look out, that's where the roads are, is you go out on this peninsula of land, and you look out into the valley where the Green River comes this way, the Colorado comes this way, and they confluence and they go down. So that would just be hiking. It should be remote enough you could do some nighttime pictures if you wanted, if you're out away. You're removed enough from Moab that you'll be able to do it, so you'll be fine there. If you really want to get remote and away from any light pollution, I would go to the other two units. There's the southern unit. You know what? Let me look it up. Canyonlands National Park we're talking about, by the way. Canyonlands National Park. Of course, Canyonlands National Park map. All right. Oh, there's the arch that I walked across. It says, "Do not walk across this arch." Fuck you. I'm gonna walk across the arch. All right. There is the northern unit, Grandview Point. That's the main one. Then there's the Needles. That's the southern unit. You got to drive down, and then there is the Maze area. What do they call it? They had different names of it. And that is the western part. And there you got to drive around or under. That's going to take you a long time to get there. The Needles unit and then the Maze unit, those are where you're going to be the most remote and probably get the best shots for photography. There's nothing out. There's nobody. Nothing. I did the Needles, and I think I saw 3 retired baby boomers hiking in May. Goddamn dog. So yeah, I would, if you're looking for pictures, I would go out to those units. Fucking Christ. It's a fucking shit show. Shut the damn dog up! So that's if you want to do photography in the parks. However, you don't have to go into the parks to do the photography. Utah itself is sparsely populated enough that I think if you just pulled off to the side of a road, not pull off the side of the road, but you went, down some dirt road, away from the road in case like a trucker goes by or something like that. There's plenty of places you just pull off and you go ahead, take your picture, do your exposure. I don't know how long it's going to be, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. But it's sparsely populated enough. You should be able to get some nighttime photography in. But yeah, so in other words, it's not necessary you go to a national park. Probably some of the better photography, some of the better pictures is away from these national parks, although you certainly will be not near anything in the Needles unit, but you don't have to go all the way into the national park to take those pictures. As for the other parks in Utah, southern Utah, Bryce is great, Zion is great for hiking and all that. I don't even mention Carolina, I don't remember which one. But I have no direct experience with Utah parks. I hike and do long time exposure photography. Any recommendations on which parks? I know you mentioned Canyonlands several times. I would like a general idea based upon trails, places to stay. Any pro tips for desert hiking? I will possibly have up a week available. Yeah, the trails. I do the northern unit of Canyonlands. If for whatever reason you decide to go down to Zion and do Angel's Landing, that's a must. But you're going to be hiking. You're not going to be taking pictures. And pro tips for desert hiking, yeah, bring sunscreen and bring a lot of water. That's it. Bring sunscreen and a lot of water. Don't be turning up rocks because there's scorpions and snakes. Not all over the place, but they'll leave you alone. But I think you fail to realize how big these parks are and how far away they are. But in general, yeah, there's not much to it. I mean, you just bring a lot of water. That's it, and bring some suntan. And in order, I would be doing Canyonlands, Northern Unit, Zion, Angel's Landing, and Temple of Sirinawa. Bryce, I'm not that excited about. Bryce is very pretty to look at, but it's almost like a drive-through. You kind of like, okay, it's very pretty. And they got trails, you can hike them. But I'd save my energies for Zion in Canyonlands. But Canyonlands, my God, you need at least 2 weeks solid to do that park any justice. Any. It is that big, and there are that many hikes and that many canyons. I've only done 3, you can't even call them hikes, excursions, expeditions. I went down one time and out to another canyon, which was really cool. The canyons I want to got these white tips on them, and I can't get there. I was thinking about scaling down the cliff, which you're not supposed to do. And I'm looking, I'm like, yeah, there's no way I'm going to make it down it. Because it's a 1,000-foot drop. There's no way you're going to do it. You need gear. And so you could drive down it back at the entrance to the park, but then the road is in such horrible condition, and they do that purposely so not a lot of people go down there. Almost the best way to do Canyonlands is to do it with an off-road pedal bike. That's probably the best way to do it. And you're going to need to bring a tent because it's going to take you a day to get out to where it looks good, and you're going to have to camp. And I'd be downloading a shit ton of podcasts because there's nothing out there. You're going to be by yourself for a long time. All right, that's it. Don't even bother with Nevada. You're not going to have time, and that's way out of your way. So, all right, you guys got questions? Cappy's got answers. AssholeConsulting.com. Check out our other site, olderbrother.com. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.